Right here, right there.
You tell me from on your way, huh? From your way, you tell me.
Down that way? Yes, on the end, visible. You know what I mean? But down that way. Okay, good. 2310. Figured it out. Yes, everyone. My daughter wasn't here. You didn't notice. What? My daughter knows. Okay. Maybe the kids didn't notice. You want to put in?
Happy holidays.
sign that this is definitely Moshiach's Zeiten. Never in the history of Chabad Lubavitch or of any women's organization did a program that was supposed to start at 9 o'clock was filled at 8:30. You don't just want Moshiach, you want him before now. I welcome you to the first and the most historic occasion that we have ever done before. Actually, it's the second time we've done it. The first time Noshim did this is in the time that we left Mitzrayim. And the second time we're doing it is tonight on Chof Ches Teves of this year. If you would see what I see from here, you too would be filled with the greatest honor and pride. It's an unbelievable sight. I would just like to ask the girls from Ezras Noshim, I like you over there, I don't want you any closer. Please be careful, please. I would like to welcome these countries who are doing this at the very same time as we are. Argentina, Australia, Austria. You'll do the applause at the end. Belgium, Brazil, in Canada, Montreal and Toronto at least. There are other cities we don't know. Santiago, Chile, Colombia, in France, many places. I talked to someone tonight that in Strasbourg, where there are only 10 Lubavitcher families, there were 200 women tonight at the Malka. In England, in Holland, in Hong Kong, in Italy, in Morocco, in Mexico, in Panama, in Paraguay, in Peru, in Romania, in Scotland, in South Africa, in Spain, in Switzerland, in Sweden, in Tunis, in Uruguay. Do you realize what's happening? Please, my dear sisters and friends, please. In the United States, in Russia, in Moscow, in Kishinev, in Dnipropetrovsk, in Tashkent, and in Kharkov. In Israel. In Yerushalayim, it was at 8 o'clock. Listen to this. In Ma'aras HaMachpelah, it started now at 4 a.m. to be together with us. In Sfas, in Kfar Chabad, in Nachla, in Bat Yam, in Rishon, in Chulon, in Haifa, in the Krayot, and in Natzeret Illit. In the United States. In the United States, this is a very partial listing. In Chicago and Cleveland, in California, and several places. In Florida, in New Orleans, in Baltimore, and Minnesota, in Texas and Georgia, in Pittsburgh and St. Louis, in New Jersey, in Detroit, Michigan. People here in 770 are from Borough Park, Manhattan, Park Slope, Long Island, Staten Island, New Jersey, Queens, Canarsie, Long Island, and Flatbush, and Vikan Sibo Hashem Esabrocha from Crown Heights. Muncie, I'm sorry. Washington Heights. I said Canarsie. Ladies, friends, sisters, please. Nothing in the world happens by accident. Nothing in the world is just because. Tonight, Chof Ches Teves is exactly 9 months to the day when the Rebbe Shlita spoke on Chof Ches Nissen that we should do something about it. 9 months, and we did it. Tonight is also the Yom Holedes of Rebbetzin Chana, Perek Kuf Yud Gimel. I'd like to tell you something. I teach in Beis Yaakov in Borough Park. When it was allowed that this information about our Kabolas HaMalchus should go out to the Klal, I came into class, and my students who read it in the Jewish press asked me, what is it that we are doing? You know, of course, as balabostas, that everything in life has to do with presentation. And so I waited until I knew exactly how I would prepare it and how I would present it. That in itself is Moshiach's Titan that I didn't answer immediately. And so I thought about it, and the next day I came in, and in 6 classes I did the same thing, and I'd like to share it with you. I walked in to a class. That's called Mesiras Nefesh, I tell you. I walked into a class. Friends, please. I walked into a classroom and I asked the student in the 11th grade, I asked her, do you mind if I use you as an example? And she said, sure, Mora. And I asked her, let me ask you, Miriam, if I invited you 3 times a day to come to my home, 3 times a day I invited you to come to my house for years and years and years. And you never came because you were busy with other things. And I also told you that when you would come, I would make you a meal because I'm so happy that you're coming. And then one day you finally decided that you'd come. You take me up on this invitation. After all, I invite you 3 times a day for years. And you come, and you knock on my door, and I don't answer. And then you keep knocking, because I've been inviting you for so many years, so you're insistent. And you knock again and again and again. And I finally answer the door. And I'm wearing a chalat and a tichel that's on a little backwards. Not only did I not cook for you, but my house is not ready. It is not clean inside or outside. What would you feel? And my 11th grader and 10th grader and 9th grader, each class said the same thing. Mora, I would really think that you really didn't mean it when you invited me. I would really think that maybe your invitation was not totally sincere. And one little girl said, I would think that you invited me Stam, zu Yetze sein. And I said, you're right. And so the Chabad Ha'elomis has decided to tell Moshiach that not only did we invite him 3 times a day for the last 5,750, actually Tefillah started in beginning of Bayesheni, yeah? For 3,000 years, not only did we invite him 3 times a day, but we are ready. We cleaned, we washed, we set the table, we cooked the meal. We're in the right place at the right time. And that is what we are doing. What we are saying tonight, my dear friends and sisters, and anybody who hears me anywhere, is not a testing ground. This is not a test, will he or won't he. This is a statement. We are ready. We did everything. Let him know. Let's say it. Ad Mosai. We are ready. We want Moshiach, and we want Moshiach now. We've done it. We cleaned. We're ready. We've cooked. We've set. We're here now. To the men who are now at home, either babysitting or at home, and a little angry, I would like to tell them, I am very sorry that we were first, but you see, we couldn't help it. All of us here are Gilgulim of another time and another place, of another country and another era. All of us here are Gilgulim of the Noshim Tzidkonius, Shebizchusam Nigalu Aveseinu Mitzrayim. And we couldn't help but do this first. Our first original did it first too, when they brought the things to the Mishkan before the men did. And so it is our destiny, it's in our genes. It is our opportunity and our responsibility to do what we did tonight. But we can't do it without our husbands, sons, son-in-laws, grandchildren, and great-great-grandsons and great-grandsons. So together let us join, not in future bringing, but bringing mamish Mashiach now. We are, of course, hoping for no program tonight whatsoever. But just in case, we have one. But we're hoping for no program. And again, let me repeat to anyone in the audience that looked at this askance, this, my friends, listen to this carefully, is not a testing ground. This is a statement. When you have a guest coming and you really want him to come, you really cook, you really prepare, you really make his favorite foods. And so we did. It is only proper to start tonight's evening on the idea of Kabolas Tevis, which is the birthday of Rebbetzin Chana. To talk about Rebbetzin Chana, it is only proper to have someone speak about her who knew her well, who shared her life, and who on that Vav Tishrei, on the day that the Rebbetzin was taken at the end to the hospital, asked for Leah Khan to come and be with her. I would like to call Mrs. Khan, who had the great chus and opportunity to spend so many hours and days and months and years with the Rebbetzin. I also have the chus, who by accident, to be born and to be her sister. Thank you.
Is more than a month, and Kabolas has more to offer than just its numerical value of 28. Because Tevis stands for goodness, and Kabolas spells koach, strength, vitality. Together, they stand for the goodness and the strength of Tevis. However, any one of us who knows what Tevis is all about, who has just looked at the page of the calendar that has all the dates of Tevis enumerated, will ask the question, what does Tevis has to do with goodness? Tevis is the month in which we have the first Yom Tzom, the first fast day of the 4 Yemei Tzom of the 4 fast days that led to the Churban, to the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. Yes, and yet Chazal called it the month of goodness, the month of Tevis. You see, goodness is a concept. Koach has 2 meanings. Koach means strength. Koach also means potential. Let's take the example of an operation. The day of an operation is hardly a day on which we say Mazel Tov. The day of an operation is hardly a day to give a Kiddush. However, the day of an operation is a day on which we can say L'chaim. Because the day of an operation, when we are going to look at it afterwards in retrospect, is the day that started us on the way to recovery. Chodesh Tevis, the way we look at it, was a very difficult month. but hij de stevens in retrospect, hij de stevens in potential, is the month about which Chazal say that all those days Yehav Chule Yomim Tevim. Asora B'Teves is compared to Yom Kippur. Just like Yom Kippur is not a day that we dance in the streets, but a day that is responsible for maybe dancing in the streets for the rest of the year. The same way, the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, Asora B'Teves, is the day that's going to be responsible for the eventual rebuilding of the Bayis Shlishi. What does that have to do with the actual date of Chopches of the Rebbetzins Yom Huledes? The Rebbetzin Chana, as we know to us, she is Em HaMelech. The concept of Em HaMelech, the concept of the mother of the king, we find in the Melachim Perek Beis, where the Pasuk says, Shleimah HaMelech, Vayosem Kisei le'Em HaMelech. Shleimah HaMelech put a chair for his mother. And Rashi says on those words, Zu Imo Shel Malchus. This is the mother of royalty. Now we know that the difference between Em HaMelech and the mother of royalty is huge. Em HaMelech, as important as it is and as glorious as it is to be Em HaMelech, is but and only the mother of one king. Mother of royalty is the mother of a dynasty of king. Mother of royalty is the mother of eternity. Mother of royalty is to us the mother of Mashiach. But at that time, we were only talking about Em HaMelech, the mother of HaMelech, and not Imo Shel Malchus. Now, when on both Tishrei the Rebbetzin was nifter, no matter how glorious and how great the place that the Rebbe had vernommen then in der Welt, she was only nifter as Em HaMelech, as the mother of a king. When in Mirza Hashem, the Rebbetzin together with the rest of Tzadikim and Tzidkonies wird aufstehen zu Tchias HaMeisim, she will get up as Ima Shel Malchus. Chazal ask, Ima Shel Malchus, who is referred to Rus, who's did Rus have to become Ima Shel Malchus? And maybe without paraphrasing it or without asking the question, we might go along and ask ourselves, what is it? And the answer is, we find a story when the Rebbe Nishma, when he was about 4 or 5 years old, asked the Tzemach Tzedek, he came to him crying, it was Pashas Vayera, and he asked, why did the Rebbe show himself to Avraham Avinu and did not show himself to us? And the Tzemach Tzedek answered, when a Yid a Tzadik to 99 Jahr alt fühlt, als darf haben a Bris Mila, is wert, a der Rebbe soll sich zu ihm beweisen. Translated, it means, when you are a Tzadik, and you are not satisfied by Asher Hushom with whatever it is that you achieved so far, and you constantly look for going higher and higher, then you deserve that the Rebbe should appear to you. Rus HaMa'aviyah was a princess. She was the daughter of the king of Eglon. She left her palace, and as the English saying goes, she went from riches to rags, literally. Do you realize what it means for a princess to leave everything behind, come to a country when she didn't even have food, when she has to go and collect together with every homeless person in a field of a stranger? And yet, we know that she did it with tremendous amount of dignity. It is not what she did, it is how she did it. From some place, I think we could find the strength, and maybe even I'm debating with myself, it might not even be, excuse me, in good taste, and therefore I'll go it very carefully. Let's think about the palace that the Rebbetzin left when she left Dnipropetrovsk. The vitality and the strength in that house. Now, I don't know how much we know, but we know a little bit. We'll never know enough what she had to put through in Chile and in Almaty. And yet, there wasn't a minute that she spent feeling sorry for herself. She also went from riches to rags. And yet she found the strength and the vitality, if you know the story, to make the ink. And it is because of that that we know and we owe, and the Rebbe had moments of simcha only because of the ink that the Rebbetzin prepared that gave Rebbe Levi the power to write down what he wrote down. There is a sentence that comes to my mind. When you know why, then you find the strength to deal with the how. When we talk about the Rebbetzin, one cannot stop without making a parallel between the Rebbetzin Chana and Chana Neviah in Sefer Shmuel. When Hannah had Shmuel, she promised, Ushaltihu le'Hashem kol yemei chayav. I will give him to the Meibashnin for the rest of his life. And the Pasuk says, V'ta'alehu, and Hannah brought him up, and she left him in Beis Hashem. And the question is why? Why did Hannah have to do it? And Chazal say, Ve'oso rega nitzitzo bo Ruach HaKodesh. Hannah had Ruach HaKodesh, and in her Ruach HaKodesh Hannah saw She'osid Shmuel, that in the future Shmuel will have to give an Ozle Malkai. He will have to put Shaul, the first king, on the throne, Bayoram Keren Mishichai, and we'll have to crown David Malka Mishicha. Now, even great people, even great neshamas have to be developed. And Hannah understood that in order for Shmuel to reach his potential, in order for Shmuel to be able to become what he will have to become, to deal with Shaul and with David Malka Mishicha, he has to spend his time in Beis Hashem. He has to spend his time under the direction of Eli Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol of that time. And there is a very interesting pasuk. At one point it says, Vayishkav Shmuel, and Shmuel was doing the everyday, mundane, the most simple act of sleeping. And yet the pasuk says, Vayishkav Shmuel, Beis Hashem. And the Meforshim remark, even though Shmuel was sleeping, it says Beheichal Hashem. Even though Shmuel was sleeping, his machshava, his essence, his being in Beis Hashem. Meaning, Shmuel has reached a level that there was nothing personal, nothing private, nothing of his own in his life. Whatever it had belonged to Beis Hashem. In order to, one cannot reach that level unless one spends time, unless one is educated by somebody in Beis Hashem. It is relatively easy to tell something that happened in the pages of Tanakh. It is relatively easy to quote a pasuk. It is very difficult for me, and like I said before, I even think it could be bordering on bad taste to make a parallel, but I hope you understood. Between Shmuel Hanavi from the pages of Tanakh, where I am covered by Psukim, and the Mesiras Nefesh of Reb Levi, and the Rebbetzin Chana, and the Rebbe Zolgi Zunzain. But I would like to make one point. Even Tzaddikim, even Tanoim, and even Amoroim have feelings. They feel simcha and they feel pain. They feel joy and they feel the opposite. And there is no question that Reb Levi, and I might add, they feel even more than we do, because their capacity for feeling and understanding is so much greater. And I have no doubt that Reb Levi and the Rebbetzin Chana would have enjoyed, I mean, for a lack of a better expression, having nachas from the Rebbe while they can see it, not only from far. But in order to become what the Rebbe is destined to become, the Rebbe has to be attached to Heichal Hashem. The Rebbe had to be attached to Beis HaMedrash, to Beis Rabbeinu Shebebobel, and therefore the Rebbe left. Chodesh Teves is known in Chazal as a very cold month. It is known as a month where families stick together for comfort and for warmth. It is known as a month in which the Rebbetzin is looking to Klal Yisroel, to us, is looking to us in order to help him get through the drafts and the chills of the winter season. And it is no coincidence that Dafka on the Chodesh of Teves, the Rebbetzin Chana was born, who so many years later, on the first Shabbos after Yud Aleph Nisan, has added a candle to her Shabbos licht. And can we imagine when this I know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I'm sorry. And it is, can we imagine the amount of light that joined this licht, that were lit, the warmth that they exude, the ice that they are capable of melting, and the darkness that they can penetrate. Let's hope that this light will melt the last stubborn speck of ice and the last stubborn space of darkness, and will bring us in its course Moshiach right now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Khan. I would like to tell you another first. The Choshev Rabbonim were officially at beginning asked to come at 10:30. Because of your wonderful attendance and Moshiach's Zeiten, this is the first time that we asked them to come earlier. There is a young lady, I'm sorry, but I must take 3 minutes. There is a young lady here. We felt that since this is a Noshim and Taf, there is a young woman representing Beis Rivka. She is the daughter of a Shliach from Detroit, Michigan, Nechamadina. Please do not fall out of the windows, girls. Nechamadina Man, the daughter of a Shliach from Detroit, Michigan.
We want Mashiach now. Now I understand why we want Mashiach now. When I was a little girl, I wanted Mashiach because of the lollipops that would grow in my backyard. When I grew a bit older, I began to feel that there must be something more to Mashiach than the lollipops. I remember when I was in 8th grade, we were having a heated discussion in class about Mashiach. One of the girls asked our teacher, "Why do we need Mashiach? After all, we live in America, in a free country, where not only we have enough Gashmias, but we can practice our Yiddishkeit without persecution as well. So why Mashiach?" The teacher appreciated her honesty and answered, "You think all is fine with you now. When Mashiach comes, you won't need your braces and problems will not exist." The answer at that time did not satisfy me. I felt it just didn't seem to be enough of a reason for Mashiach to come just for better Gashmias. The following summer, the topic of Mashiach came up again when I asked, why do we really need Mashiach to come? I was told it's a selfish question on my part because there are so many Yidden that don't have it easy, like the people in Russia who suffer for wanting to be Jewish, and likewise many Jews throughout the world suffer. So we should want Mashiach for them. But here again, I basically got the same answer and was still not satisfied. As I learned more, and particularly more Hasidus, things that I knew but never understood began to fall into place. There is a mashal of a king who had a dear friend, and he told his friend to wish for anything he wants, and his wish will be granted. The friend asked, for like any of us would ask, for a beautiful mansion with gardens and waterfalls, with sparkle and gold. The king granted him his wish. It was only later, to his dismay and deep sorrow, when a friend pointed out to him that if he would have asked for the king himself, he would have had everything. By the same token, we learn the essence of the world and everything in it is godliness. But the layers of Gashmias are covering over the godliness. That's why the world is called Olam, from the root word Helen, which means hidden. Because that's exactly what the world is. It's layers of Gashmias hiding the godliness. The Torah and mitzvahs which we do have the power to reveal the essence of godliness in everything. When a person works hard, and he works very hard at something, he wants to see the results. We live our lives according to the Torah. We want to see the results. We want godliness to be revealed here and now. We don't want to wait la'achar mea ve'esrim until after 120. We want it now. We want the whole thing, not just bits and pieces. We want the entire world to be a revealed and obvious good. It says in Pirkei Avos, Al tiyu kavadim hamashamshin es harav amanas lekabel pras, ela hevai kavadim hamashamshin es harav shaloi amanas lekabel pras. Don't serve your master for reward, just serve him without a reward. Hasidus explains pras to mean a portion. Don't serve Hashem for a portion. Serve Hashem for everything. We should not be satisfied with lollipops or mansions and roses and good health, even though they are very important. But we want the entire thing. We want godliness revealed in its entirety, which is without a limit. We want the King himself, and that's what the time of Mashiach is. Now we just have a taste of it. We have Shabbos and we have Hasidus. We want Yom Shekule Shabbos U'Menucha L'Chai Elamin, a time that is all Shabbos and peaceful forever, a time when godliness is revealed in its entirety. Nothing disordered. It will be the real essence. Only that will satisfy us, to extend the Shabbos so that it will not come to an end. That's why we want Mashiach now.
The truth is that at any moment, at any second, that the Hashgacha Ha'Olyena would like us to stop with the program, we will be very happy to do it. So far, we go on with the program. We have the great cover tonight to be addressed by many Choshev Rabbonim. I would first like to call Rav Marlow, Reish Av Beis Din from Beis Din Rabbonei Crown Heights. Rav Marlow, please.
Participating in Kabolas HaMalchus, which is known as Sukkot Mashiach, the way the Arizal calls it. The Rebbe many times refers to it with that name. It is also customary to mention Eliyahu Hanavi. And I have another reason why I would like to bring that in. I assume, very comfortably, that within the last few days, because of your activities, thousands of Jews, including myself, for a while thought about Mashiach. That there is such a thing, and we strongly anticipate his arrival. The Alter Rebbe brings in Tanya that there are certain temporary salvations. For example, Tefillah is an exodus, at least a temporary exodus from Shivya, from captivity. And so also, the learning of Torah, like we say in Pirkei Avos, En l'chot ben chayrin, elo mishayeshiv b'Torah. So during that time, when we daven properly, or when we see that a large group of women are sincere to bring about what we are now witnessing, it brings out a certain envy in one that they mean it sincerely. And for those moments, while you think about it, you are taken temporarily out of this captivity, and you live with the thought of Mashiach. Also, by the Fabrengens, when we see that every week he himself is ready at the spirit of the moment to have Mashiach. And he speaks about this, goes on for months after months, years after year. A certain hazazah it makes in everyone, not each one to the same extent, but definitely a hazazah is made in each and every one. As I said before, it is customary on Mitzvah Shabbos, especially by Kabolas HaMalchus, to tie it in with Eliyahu Hanavi. The Rambam brings down in this famous Perek, Yudays of Hilchos Melachim, Melachim Yisayim, or the way it's printed in certain titles, Hilchos Mashiach, that at the beginning of the times of Mashiach, there'll be the Milchemes Gog u'Magog. Before that, Eliyahu Hanavi will come. This is based on the mission in Yiddish, and the Rambam for Halacha assumes the Halacha to be like the Chachamim, who say that the purpose, the reason why he is coming, is to make shalom. Then the Rambam brings another opinion. Some say, there are certain Chachamim who say that Eliyahu Hanavi will come before Mashiach, before the time of Mashiach, to let know that Mashiach is coming. So the Rebbe in Sichos, it's already printed in one of the volumes of Kabolas HaMalchus. There is, we try our best not to make a machlokes, a conflict, difference of opinion when it comes to fact. Either he will come before Mashiach or will come after Mashiach. How can there be a machlokes in this? And he over there explains, I won't be long at it, that it is basically not a machlokes, just that there's different opinions as to what Eliyahu Hanavi will do when he comes, whenever it is, before Mashiach or after Mashiach, to straighten out the kashrus of families, or only those families who were deferred wrongly, not justifiably, or to, between the Chachamim and their Talmidim, to straighten out that there be no machlokes, or like the Rambam Paskins, to make shalom ba'olam. Now which way is it? So also, the Rebbe explains that this is not a machlokes in Mitzias, in fact. Rather, the emphasis is, what is the reason that he comes, not what will he do. Everybody agrees that he'll do all of these things. But what is the reason that Bo? So that already is not a machlokes in fact. Everybody agrees to all these things will be done by Eliyahu. Only what is the main reason of his coming? And the Rambam paskins lahalocha that the main reason of his coming will be to make shalom ba'olam. So also, as far as his coming before Mashiach or after Mashiach, perhaps one can say that there are certain things which are a temporary relief, a temporary exodus of captivity, like I mentioned before, which is before Mashiach. In other words, this is not a step in the Mashiach itself. This coming, according to the opinion that also will come before, is only to tell you that Mashiach will come, is on his way, and he accomplishes those things which are, meanwhile, yet not the Mashiach itself, but the close preparation to it and the temporary exodus of it. May the Eibush to give you all hatzlacha and continue to make us envious of you, and schar nashim sultanis shebeis hader nigel avsen mitzrayim ki metzes romet mitzrayim avena leflois agutov.
Grayson Yasherkeach für Rav Marlow. Wir beten jetzt zum Mikrofon dem Rebben Schlittes Chayzer Horav Reb Yael Kahn.
Eine von den Sachen, dass ich verstehe die Einzelnen von Malke, dass es zugetan wäre eine große Sache, und man macht das praktisch begeistert. Bitte ist ja, dass geworden die halben Sachen, das verbunden werden die Knosien, noch eine Sachen, die der Referer gerät, das werden alle mit Debo. Dort haben wir gemacht eine Sache, im Meister, Bepel, praktische Sache verbunden mit der Sude. Das weiß, mehr, man ruft das an nicht auf einen von Mocher. Beklar, wenn man angewöhnt machen, das Sude, wird man sagen, das Sude ist da. Dann macht man das Sude ist da. Mal darauf, der Rebbetzin schon gegeben eine gewisse Sache, macht man das Sude ist da, mit Dank dem Ebersten, und dann Dank verbindet man mit das Sude. Aber man macht schön, ist der Sude, weißt du, dass die Ammune und der Betochen war sehr stark, man hat das schön bei Perlmann, und man dankt schön. Bei mir da kommt der größte Jaschekär, die haben das organisiert, die Freunde haben organisiert, die haben auf Malke, das bringt der Rüse sehr, eine starke Ammune, und eine starke Betochen, und man dankt schön nicht, dass man bestimmt das so. So dazu, aber ich wollte aber meistens sein noch eine Kude. Und ich meine, dass mir bin ich jetzt die Freuen, ich meine, dass bin ich jetzt für meine. Da passt die Gelegenheit, einfach gescheit, dass es zu freuen, aber ich meine, dass bin ich jetzt für die Menschen. Und das Selsa Meise, was in der Meise Spiegel verkoppelt, darin auch von der Sache. Und das Selsa Meise, die Meise werden uns reingedrückt in chabad. Als sie werden einfach von der Seite gesehen. Was vielleicht alle Jahr, wird das in Banaien, als man fragt, beim Porez, gehalten hat zu Ende, beim Porez, und gedacht, Banaien, jeden Jahr den Kontrakt. Jeden Mal haben wir gekauft 10 Euro. 2-mal hat er gehabt, in die Kirche zu gehen. Was geschieht dann so? Wir kommen zurück dazu, dass jeden Tag nun, aber hat es gemacht, den Kontrakt nicht auf 1 Jahr, nur auf 5 Jahre. Aber dann hat er gemacht 5 Jahre noch an, dass es schon gekauft, nicht in 50 Rubel, für jeden Jahr 10 Euro, sondern gekauft 30 Rubel mehr. Der Tate dann die waren Breige. Und sagt, was hast du getan? Wir glauben, dass am Mashiach kommen bald. Also die Pater ist lieber 20 Rubel. Er sagt, auf 1 Jahr 10 Rubel, und er sagt, das ist auch noch 20 Rubel, 30 Rubel. Die Welt besteht die Meise. Die Meise besteht, hat auch gekenntliche Ohren. Wissen muss dem Sohn einen ganz anderen Weg. Das heißt, das genommen, du machst den Kontrakt auf 5 Jahre, du tust das Sache, und das zeigt der Ruhige, die Schwachkeit in der Munde, wie es im Schiff. Dann kennt er das nicht. Hat aber nicht immer so gemusst. Hat den Porsche gemusst, was hey, das gepatert 20 Rubel. Was denn auf die Mine? Von der Seite über muss, bis der Seite über muss, ist dann auf die Mine da ein Porsche. Bescheid muss er, für was zeigt der Ruhige, der Paola. Er sagt, tut er seine Sache, das weiß der Ruhig Schwachkeit, in dem Monat bebiert der Mashiach, muss er daran der Gemeinde rufen. Muss er der Gemeinde rufen, seine Weide ehrliche Iden, und rufen zur Sache, was will tun, aber von der Erste. Er hat ihn gemussert an der Sache, was heißt, das gepatert, 20 Rubel ist gepatert, das hat er ihn gemussert. Für was ist das Taki geworden? Weil er da das Porsche gegleibt unter eins. Er hat Porsche gegleibt, über Meil, und hat mir getracht, dass man morgen kommt. Er hat gesagt, das ist noch mehr für ein paar Chadoschen. Und die 20 Rubel, dafür haben nicht. Bei mir hat er verraten, das 20 Rubel. Also er hat mir Mutter für eine Gastmusik gesagt, nicht für eine Ruchmusik gesagt. Und das hat er ruhig gebracht, als er meint es. Ein Porsche hat gegleibt, dass bald kommt ein Schiff, und ein Porsche geahrt, das 20 Rubel. Ich denke, ich bin nach Kind gegangen, aber ich denke, das sei ja gut. Dass ich bin bei Friedrichen rennen, wenn Topfen gibt. Hat mir gesehen, auf der Sache hin, ich bin nach Kind, aber ich denke, er hat Porsche gehalten, als bald kommt Moschee, oh Mensch. Was gehalten? leider fällt bei Sachen von uns. Aber da Sachen sehen, das bleiben Tage mit einem. Ich sage, aber sie da sehen, was tut gewisse Poles, noch ein Pole, und tut auch sind Poles, wie zum Ehrer sein dem Ingen von Mashiach, wie zum Zara sein dem Ingen Hagur. Sehr gleiche Sache. So dazu aber, da sei noch eine Sache. Nicht nur suchen Wegen, wie zum Zara sein die Gur. So da Sachen, was kommen nach Rüssig, was natürlich, eben mit Leibstacke. Und das wird der Rebbe sagt, alle Gläubigen, als die Mama Schüster die Zeichen, dass die Mama bald kommt, ist eben mit Leibstacke, ist nicht nur, was man tut, Sachen aufbringen die Gur. Nicht nur, was man kocht sich in die Gur. Das ist kennt sich Poschet. Eben mit Leibstacke kann nicht sein anders, also nicht sein kennt sich, im tagtäglichen Leben, nicht Sachen, was man tut in der Gur. Man tut privaten Leben. Eben gleich, was heißt, morgens, übermorgens, in der Woche rum, in 2 Wochen rum, kommt Moscheech. Ihr habt Tochen, ihr bemeilen, ihr doch eine sichere Sache, also, wenn man wartet auf Moscheech, schaß gewählte Zeiten, wenn nicht mit einer verkippt. Ich sehe bei einem die letzte Woche, bei einem Autopan am letzten Tag. Dem Tag, da vereinigen zum Rahmen für Chides, hat bei meiner geführt sich anders. Sie nicht mehr die Chide soll sein besser, nicht vielleicht darauf. Sie waren passionatierlich, was ist das? Geht auch an dem Tag. Ich bemeile das gewesen, von sich allein. Ich soll sein, ein Servus, hat Passion auf Glaubensstarke, nicht nur auf Tampe, alles verschiedene. Wie so eine Karre sind die Gule, man passt auf Glaubensstarke, weil der Glaubensstarke, bei dem der Glaubensstarke ist die Weg ist, die pastorliche Weg. Das wird der Rebbe gesagt, man soll mehr lernen, die Unionen von Gule, wo dann, was man lernt, mehr die Unionen von Gule ersten, ist das echt auf Weg, auf Gule, wie so bringe ich dich auf die Gule. Das hat der Rebbe gesagt, das ist die Weg. Und so dazu, das echt Machadik, als der Munde bebiert am Moscheech, als bald kommt ist das nicht nur in der Eifung, das man tut für den Moscheech. Aber man glaubt mit ihm, es werden mehr gewisse Sachen im tagtäglichen Leben anders. Und ich habe der Rebster nicht warten, bis auf das bei uns werden, der Munde, der darf zu sein, der bringt den Moscheech in der Sachfriede.
I have one small announcement. At 305 Kingston Avenue upstairs of Tzach, there's a hookup with the screen. You could sit, you could hear, and you can see from there. So if you're uncomfortable here, but I'd rather you don't leave. So will the women that have seats please have Avas Yisrael and share them with the women that don't. And maybe later on you can switch places. If you want Mashiach, like what Rav Khan said, show it in tagtägliche Sachen. I would like to introduce Rav Altein from Vadla Fotzesiches, who will give us Chazorah of today's Farbringen. Rav Altein.
Before I begin, Chazorah the Farbringen, in general we can't get Chazorah from the whole Farbringen in a few minutes. we'll pick out certain parts of the Farbrengen to give over. Since the purpose of this Kabolas HaMalchus, like it says on the invitation, is connected with Kabolas HaMalchus, means, certainly doesn't only mean physically Kabolas HaMalchus, doesn't only mean the Gashmias to be standing there and ready to receive Moshiach the Gashmias, but it also means a Kabbalah Ruchnis, being ready to receive Moshiach the Ruchnis. So I'm going to say over that part of the Farbrengen, which I think perfectly explains what does it mean, the union of Kabolas Pnei Moshiach Tzidkenu. The Rebbe began the Farbrengen by, in general, a Hagdoma. What is the Farbrengen on Shabbos? The origin of a Farbrengen on Shabbos is from a posuk in Chumash and a Medrash. Posuk in Chumash, in Parshas Vayakel, which says, Vayakel Neishes Kol Adas B'nei Yisrael. And what did he tell them? He told them about Shabbos, and he told them about the Nidvas HaMishkan, about the Mishkan. The Chazal say we learn out from this that Moshe Rabbeinu used to gather Yidden every Shabbos and teach them Torah. And from this we learn out that in all generations, Shabbos is supposed to be utilized as a time to gather Yidden and teach them Torah. What do we mean by gathering Yidden? So just like the Pasuk says, Kol Kahal Adas Yisrael, means all of Yidden, Anoshim, Noshim, and even Taf. Men, women, and even children. And this we learn out because it says concerning the Mishkan, that who took part in the Nidvas HaMishkan, in donating to the Mishkan. So the men, the women, and according to the Medrash, even the children, even small children, also took part in donating towards the Mishkan. So from this we learn out that when we speak about Makul Kihilis, we're speaking about something which is negayah to all of Klal Yisrael, Anoshim, Noshim, V'Taf. This idea about a Farbrengen on Shabbos, connected to all of Klal Yisrael, is especially so on the Farbrengen of this Shabbos. Farbrengen of this Shabbos, Shabbos Mevorchim Shvat, which the month of Shvat for us means that the month of Shvat has in it on the 10th day of Shvat, which the 10th day is Ho'asiri Yiyah Kedesh, on the 10th and most Kedushidik day of this month is the Yortzeit, the Yom Hilula of Nesi Dereinu. What is the union of a Nosi Hador? A Nosi Hador, like the Chazal say, HaNosi Hu HaKel. The Nosi includes everyone. Everyone is connected to the Nosi. Anoshim, Noshim, V'Taf, the whole of Klal Yisrael. HaNosi Hu HaKel. This is true about every single Nosi. Of all generations. Every Nosi B'Yisrael. Every Nosi Hador of all generations was a Nosi of whole Klal Yisrael. But especially, the Rebbe said, the Nesiim of Chabad, and in the Nesiim of Chabad itself, specifically Nesi Dereinu, what we saw was a Nosi connected to all of Klal Yisrael on Noshim, Noshim V'Taf, simply, literally. Because it's known that what is the union of the Nesi Chabad? Nesi Chabad came to fulfill the union of your futzu my nisecha chutza, that the mayonis of Chassidus should be spread out to all of Yidden, even those who are b'chutza, the furthest that can be. So even though this began from the first Yutes Kislev of the Alter Rebbe, but by which Nasi did we see B'muchash? We actually physically saw how he reached out to bring the mayonis of Chassidus to every single Yid, even to the furthest and furthest that can be. This began by Nasi Dereinu. And during the lifetime of Nasi Dereinu itself, so there are also different kufis. Generally, the 30 years of the Nesius of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe says, like explained many times, we divide into 3 general kufis. There was the first 10-year period from Tofresh Pei to Tofresh Tzadik, generally the years that the Rebbe was in Russia. Then was the second 10-year period, when the Rebbe was outside of Russia, but he was in Europe. And then the final 10-year period from Tov Shin to Tov Shin Yud, when the Frierdiker Rebbe was in America. And Dafka in the third and final kufa of his life, this is when we saw the piyulas of the Rebbe were in the way of your futzu, my nesecha chutza, to reach out and bring the mayonis of Chassidus to Yidden who are all the way in the chutza that further can't be. And like all piyulas of a Nasi Befrat, and especially those that are connected to the number 3, the third kufa, which are the 3 is connected to Chazokeh, so it's an ongoing piyula, it lasts forever and ever, and it continues on even after Tavshin Yud, and not only continues on in the same level, but Mailim Bakedish, it becomes higher and greater. And this inyan, that the Rebbe Nasi Dereinu was the one who fulfilled this inyan of bringing the mayonis of Chassidus all the way to the chutza, she'ein chutza chutz mimenu, to the furthest that can be, to all of Yidden. This is also connected to what we find that the Rebbe was the one who was machriz, and he commanded us to be mefarsim more and more, that kvar kolu kol hakitzin, all the designated times for Mashiach to come are over already, and everything is ready for the Giyulah. The Giyulah is ready with the Beis HaMikdash, and even the Seudah that comes with the Giyulah, which this is the Seudah of Luv Yoson and Sheirabad with Yain HaMishumar. So which this means, according to Chassidus, a Seudah Gashmiz Dafke, similar to Seudah Shabbos, which has to be Dafke a Seudah Gashmiz, not a Ruchnizdike one. So all these things are all ready. And the Pasuk says, U'nishalma Porim Sfosenu, which means that when we speak about the Porim, which means the Karbonis in the Beis HaMikdash, so this in itself takes the place of Karbonis, but what it means even more so, this in itself brings it that we should get it b'peil mamish. The Rebbe said clearly that this was all the inyan that the Rebbe, the Nasi Dereinu, he was machas on this, because Nasi Dereinu, said since he was the Nosei Hador, the Meishe Rabbeinu Shebedereinu, and the Chazal say Meishe Hu Geil Rishon Hu Geil Achrin. So this was the union of Nasi Dereinu, the Geil Achrin, to bring down the Geula B'Peil Mamish. The Yortzeit of a tzaddik, so like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, this is the day where all the accomplishments of the tzaddik, all the Maisim and Teira and Aveda come together, and this is the day of the shleimus of everything he accomplished. And since the Yortzeit of the Rebbe is on Yud Shvat, so it follows that this inyan that was explained above concerning the Rebbe, his shlichus of being the Geil Achrin, this is also hinted in the day of his Yortzeit, the day which is the shleimus of his Aveda. Shvat comes from the word Shevet. Shevet shows on Malchus. I wrote the posuk Shevet Meshlim. There are many psukim where Shevet is a symbol of Malchus, and this is specifically connected to Moshiach, LeYosur Shevet Mi Yehuda, the Malchus of Yehuda. Like one of the psukim concerning Moshiach is V'yotzo Chayte Mi Geze Yishad. Chayte is also the Lashon Shevet, and this is referring to Mashiach, the Gid, his galus of Mashiach. So the pasuk refers to it as Chayte V'yotzo Chayte Mi Geze Yishad. So this is the inyan, the connection between Chodesh Shvat and the Siderenu. And in Chodesh Shvat itself, it's in the dafka on the 10th day of Shvat, which Ha'asiri Yi Kodesh. This is the day of Shvat, in Shvat itself, the highest day of Shvat, where the Kedusha is at its fullest, Ha'asiri Yi Kodesh. This is also the Heirah B'Peil Mamish that the Rebbe demanded us from this Fabrengen, that since we're in the Shabbos Mevorchim Chodesh Shvat, so now is the time to start preparing for the Fabrengens that we all have to make on Yud Shvat. With what is the Hachlotus connected to Yud Shvat? The Hachlotus connected to Yud Shvat are obviously strengthening ourselves and following the Teira Aveda of Nasi Dereinu. Which what is the Nekuda? This is making ourselves ready. Bishleimus for Mashiach. And the Rebbe said if each one of us would be mizbeinin for 1 second, imagine for one moment that Nasi Dereinu kommt jetzt rein durch den Tir, that he's coming, Nasi Dereinu is walking into the door right now, and he's looking at his Talmidim and at his Chassidim to see what they're up to. So there's no question that even those who by the Neshama, they didn't finish making themselves b'shleimus until now, so they will not reinchappen. They'll immediately chaparein the last few minutes that remain in Golis to ready themselves and make themselves b'shleimus ready for Mashiach. Just like what is the inyan of a Nossi, like explained before. A Nossi, ha-Nossi hu ha-Keil. So what is the Achlotus connected to a day which is connected to Nasi Dereinu is that everyone has to strengthen their own bittul and his kashrus to Nasi Dereinu. And not just in one area of his life, in one aspect, but in all aspects aspects of his life. Bakel, Mikel, Kel. Every Inyan in a person of Chos's life, that was said, Dafen in Sinnen haben Nesidereinu. We have to think about Nesidereinu in everything that we think and we speak and we do. In every Machshove Dibur Maisa, we have to have in mind Nesidereinu. And this connects us with the Nasi in all our Inyanim. Finish that here Rotzen, that through the Hachlotis, to make these Verbringings with these Hachlotis Tevis connected to each other. By making these Hachlotis now, so this Hachlot itself should immediately bring about the Kitzu Varan Musheich Neyofor, and you see the Reine Barasheno, and take us to Eretz Yisrael. Take it from me.
Yashakeach Rav Altein. As Rav Altein said, these Farbrengens of Yud could be Lachar Bias HaMashiach also. As I said before, and I want to say each time a speaker finishes, we are ready at any second to give up the rest of our program. We are really ready at any second to give up the rest of our program. I would like to call to the microphone. Ich will rufen jetzt zum Mikrofon. Horav Reb Shneir Zalman Gorari, Chaver von Vad Rabboni Lubavitch Hakloli und Chaver von Agudas Chasidei Chabad. Horav Gorari.
Geben a Dank bei der Komitee für die Freude, was es mir gegeben dem Schoß, a ihr soll etwas können zuhelfen, zur heintiger Höhe, sehr Höhe, die später reden, die Schule, was mir ruft zu sagen, Kabolas HaMalchus. Ich habe zehnmal nicht gekannt haben, dem Schoß, als das Ihnen, und sehr mir gegeben, die Gelegenheit müssen wir sie aufhalten. Ich glaube, aber ich gucke, wie ich gucke, auf die Arbeit, wo die früher, die Sheikh Chabad, die Reis Chabad, was sie tun, gucke ich auf sie sehr, sehr hoch. Weil das, was sie tun, ist es nicht mit Tegen der Köches. Das ist der Rebbe. Der Rebbe gibt die Köches. Bei Männern will der Rebbe so allein tun. Und bei Frauen gibt sie Köches. Verstehen alle, dass die Arbeit, was man tut, mit dem Rebensköches, die Gabe der unsere Köches, weil das ist ein Ingen von einer Recht. Sie machen es, als wie ein Lieber, die Gabe wäre, das alle verstehen alle. Und die Köches, wo der Rebbe geht dafür zu freuen. Der Tam ist, ach Hus, was ich Städte reden, und der Rebbe gerät schon, als sie dachte mir, der Wort ist für sie, wenn die Rede ist für Wellen, also der letzte Dorf, Paar, der Schirchen, wo dort sie ist der heintige Dorf, wie der Rebbe redet, an der heintige Dorf, das ist das Ende von Goles, und das ist der erste Dorf von Giule, ist damals mehr die Gilgulim bei der Freude, von die Freude, wo sie haben nicht ausgetan, sehr Zielen von Egel. Und die Gilgulim kommen darauf, und der letzte Säures ist heintige Säures, haben die Freude gar andere Kirchen. Noch eine Sache. Der Indien, was der Rebbe tut in der Treue, was sie haben, alle Sachen geklaut, das wird gebrennt, Farbe, Schirchen, die Beile, was da sehe voran, wie der Wort, Hakelfeuer, wie der Opfer, ist voran, die sagt, der Indien heißt, fordert sich, und sie ist der Indien von der Munde. Der Munde ist da, bei Treuen, mehr wie bei Männern. Ich will erzählen, ich habe nicht aufhalten allein, aber mit 52 Jahren hat der friedliche Rebbe erzählt am Weiße. Später ist er schön gedruckt, aber ich habe das gehört, damals, der Rebbe allein. Und dort alle Weißen stammen von der Weiße, aber ich habe lieber gehabt in dem Wort, sie wissen nichts kommen von anderen. Erzählt, wie sie gewähnt beim alten Rebben ein sehr größer Chossid. Und ist kol Jobo gewähnt ein Jeschiv Ist einmal allein zum alten Rebben, hat der alte Rebbe gesagt, soll wissen, es wird kommen eine Zeit, was wird sein Freund gehen ab Neverweimers, wird Hassen haben mit der zweiten Freund, was wird geboren werden, ein Kind, und sie geben dem und dem Namen. Losem sagt ihm, die Teufel von deiner Schomme ist eider zu seiner Rof, die besser seiner Balagol. Der Chossid ist Wege und vergessen die ganze Yechidus, was hat gehabt von der alten Rebbe. Und somit hat der alte Rebbe gewollt. In der Zeit darum ist doch alles nicht kein geworden, wo es der alte Rebbe hat gesagt, hat Chasne gehabt, hat ein Kind und hat damals der Monster gegeben, dem Namen. Damals hat umgewollt die Parnasse, früher hat gehabt Parnasse, wo die Treue gearbeitet, gedenkt nicht alle Proteins, am meisten, von 52 Jahren, ich habe gehört, hat ihn untergetragen, hat Samra Bonnes Robben Arof. Und so der Mond, wo es der alte Rebbe und er einmal gesagt, hat ihm gesagt, an die Teufel für seine Schule ist, jeder zu seiner Rof ist besser, aber nu, hat in der Mondsach, ist der Mondsach die ganze Yechidus, was gehört von Rätsel Jahren beim Rebben. Und hat gesehen, als alle Sachen, was der Rebbe gesagt, ist geworden, ist Chayen. Nu, muss jetzt rot nehmen, den Pekel, den bitteren Pekel, was mit Maruk gelegt, soll wegwerfen, die ganze Sache liegen und lernen mit allen Sachen und gehen werden, aber folgen dem Rebbe. Aber hat bei sich nicht gekannt Polen. Hat geglaubt, Polen bei sich zu werden, aber hat die Schuhe für sich gekannt. Ich will dazu sagen, noch erhalten mit dem Not, damals hat beschworen, wenn der Rebbe erzählt, der Meister, Prägeton beim Rebben, was macht man es als Zimmer, wo der Messias Nefesh, als was hat getragen, wie sein Kero, wenn sei Balagone. Und so getan, sie voran Benzin, Schemter, sieht damals gesessen in Russland, und nicht gewählt auf den Rebbe Sachosi, gegangen in Astrog, gegangen in Sibir, und er hat gekannt folgende Rebbe, wo sie die Spoilers, was bei sich nicht gekannt, folgen. Der Rebbe hat ihm geantwortet, versteht nicht, was heißt, verbal Seichel, verbal Teure, obsorgen sich. Und werden aber Gole, das ist ein größerer, das ist ein Nefesh, wie geht in der Stroh. Beschuldigt euch noch alle Sachen nicht gekannt, beswahnt sich mit Jaschulungen und geht zu seinem Freund und erzählt ihr, ich habe mal gehabt, der Rebbe, und hat mir gesagt, und alle Sachen, was gesagt, ich war mit Kuhle, und hat mir gesagt, ihr soll werden aber so Pflege bei ihr Reise. Guckt sie, wo der Fleckle verstehe ich nicht. Was trachte? Hat der Rebbe dir gesagt, gehst du trachten, sonst wäre er Balagolle. Gab und weg. Hast du nicht ein Geld, ob zu kaufen gefährt? Ich will verkaufen die Zierig meine, und ich will dir weggeben das Geld, und kaufe Pferd, dann wäre er Balagolle. Hat sich die Hand nicht gekannt, Paul, sein Freude gehabt, die Munde, und sich noch ein gedacht, reinstellen. Nachdem das gehört für sein Freude, schreibt der Rebbe, bei sich im Ganzen herumgefallen. Ich bin der Chossis, ich weiß, was ein Rebbe ist. Ich habe gekannt mein Rebbe, ich kenne auch Kuchen und Trachten. Sie folgen, und die Freude, hat sagt, sollte Munde, aber hier versteht viel nicht, was trägt. Hat der Mond, wo die Freude gehabt Taten am Lamme. Die erste Freude, ich wäre größer wie Jesus, aber gewachsen von der Stande. Die Freude, gewachsen nach Vorschütt, in Lieden, nach Vorschütt am Lamme, wie zu ihr reinlich geklappt, Munde, als hat gedacht, noch alles Ziels, hat gedacht, mit Kabolas von Freude. Sagt mir viel auf den Rebbetzin Chana. Ich sehe gewählt der Linie von der Munde, war Leben und Mashiach die Fragen mehr wie bei Männern. Und derselbe Roh, derselbe größere Mensch, was der Gebet gewählt größt. Ich frage die ganze Weise, verwassert und später, verwassert dem alte Rebbe geheißen wäre Balagolle, was später umgetan, bis war einer geworden, als größer Schule durchgehen und fragen einen ganzen Sefer mit dem mittleren Rebbe gemacht. Aber noch alle Sachen, wie durchgehört von der Frau, mit allen Gesbäuders, ist weiter umgegangen und weiter zu tun und weiter geprägt, dieselbe Scheile, wie kennt ihr bei sich Paul und Werner Balagolle. Seht mir, versteht ihr, es war die größte Ziele, noch alle Sachen mit Kabolas in der Munde ist verfremd. Und das ist das gewesen am Wolletier. Heinke der Rebbe übergemacht, zu bloßen dem Feier, was sie vereinbart freuen und im Dorf und nicht mit Schüche, dem Feier von der Munde, wo der Feier ist für die chinesischen Rappers, keine Obhals in der Stadt, aber hat der Feier, also wie es steht im Tage. Und wir können alles überbrechen mit dem. Aber eben soll gedacht sein, soll zu bloßen. Und das soll der Rebbe zu bloß, war die Freude der Feier. Sie sagt von der atomischen Bombe und dem König, was sie fragen, der Atom, ist gewesen von Schäches und Bresches. Man hat nicht gewusst im König, man hat gedacht, jeder soll es voneinander nehmen und voneinander bloßen. Ich will nicht der Monden nehmen, sehen. Und dieselbe sagt, der König von Freude von der Munde, von heimlichen Zeiten ist es voran betäubert. Aber man hat gedacht, voneinander bloßen. Der war Tom, jeder hat es voneinander geblosen, hat es gemacht. Ein König, wo das kennt überdrehen in der Welt, an beiden Seiten, schlecht und gut, hat man nicht gewusst und sie werden behalten, diese Gottes. Sie darf sein einer, der Rebbe, was hat durch, voneinander geblosen im Feier. Und der Feier, der Farbe, der Rebbe ist aufgegeben, mehr mit der Freude. Und die Köchers, was sie haben sie errebste Köchers, was für die Köchers in der Stadt kein Schub besaget. Und der Pfarrer, ich habe auch getan, und was wir bei Wiesen übergelegt, die erste Wörter, die der Rebbe hat geschrieben, wegen der blaue Balken, wie der Charois mit der Kehle. Wenn Männer machen das, ich weiß nicht, was sie wollten gehabt. Und der Rebbe hat sie aufgehoben und geschrieben als solche gewaltige Wörter, wie es heimbar nachher mir erst bei Wiesen, noch ein gewaltiger Brief, was wir nicht beauftragt. Ich soll überlegen den Brief für alle, kann ich nicht überlegen, aber es ist gewaltig. Es ist gewaltig und das haben die Freunde aufgeteilt. Aber ein Wort, was so viel sagen. Chas wie Scholle, man soll Labadugelen mit dem Ort, was man aufgeteilt heimbar Nacht, wo der ganze Welt zu bloßen der Mune bescheren. Was mehr nicht, wenn sich nur in dem Innen von der Mune, mehr gar nicht. Und was es zu bloßen bei allen Weibern, auf der ganzen Welt, und da kann Abigit, Pesasude und Gasbis, viel bedürfen Gasbis von der Mune, weil das ist halt eine von den größten Auftragen, was wir verstehen. Aber Chas wie Scholle haben so meinen, also haben geendigt, sie haben umgetan. Das ist ja ohne. Das ist ohne, wie der Rebbe schreibt in den Brief, der Predigerbrief wäre es halber Nacht, hat der Riker ist, als sie weiter. Aber so wissen, ob sie das steht, als Feier hat am Wort der Natur. Jeder Minute muss man untertragen, noch ein Stück Holz, noch ein Stück Bäumel, an nicht wird ausfeiern. Alle Sachen am Markt existieren sie. Frage die vier Sehnes, Schruach, Bein, Wochen, alle können existieren, ausfeiern. Feier ist ein Beherrtung, eine Sekunde Ton, eine Sekunde untertragen Bäumel, untertragen Kehle, ausfeiern. Wir wollen dafür wissen, als wir haben große Keuches. Und der Rebbe hat von anderen geblossene Keuches, das atomische Keuches hat er. Aber man muss sehen, untertragen. Kehle, Chas wie Scholle, wenn der Feier soll sich auslöschen. Wir wollen dafür wissen, als heimbar Nacht ist es auch nicht. Und der Rebbe soll helfen, ihr Verzweher sein weiter und weiter, und wir werden es um die Kabel sein verlassen.
Wir hoffen noch, dass heim bei Nacht in der Sof nicht herumhebt. Ich will rufen jetzt zum Mikrofon. I am now calling to the microphone a guest from far away, the President of the Rabbinical Council of Australia, the former chaplain of Her Majesty's Guard, from Melbourne, Australia, Rabbi Gutnick. Rabbi Gurari spoke in Yiddish. Rabbi Gutnick will also speak in a foreign language, but it is English, I promise you.
On the day when Klal Yisrael throughout the world is mamlich es HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the Melech Malchei HaMalchim. On that day, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, who is designated in Jewish history as the Mekonen, the lamentor of Jewish people, comes into the Bate Knesios of Bate Midrashes on this Kadur Haaretz and says the following words: Ko Yomar Hashem,
So speaks Hashem. Kol barama nishma. There is a voice heard on high. Nehi pchi samrurim. A heartrending and bitter weeping. Rachel mevako al boneha. Our mother Rachel cries over her children. She refuses to be comforted over her children. Ki einenu, for he is not here. To that weeping of Mother Rachel, Hashem answers, Ko yomar Hashem, Mini koilech mi bechi, withhold your voice from weeping, ve'inayech midima, and your eyes from shedding tears. Yesh tzachar lefulasech, there is a reward for your work. Ve'yesh tikva la'acharisech, there is hope for your future. Ne'um Hashem, saith the Lord, v'shovu vonim ligvulam, and your children will return to their borders. B'shus harabonim achshuvim, Madam Chair Lady, and all of you who are mishtatef with other ladies throughout the world in this Seudah Seder David Malka Mashiach. From the first moment when I had a long distance call from Crown Heights to Melbourne, Australia, and I sensed the excitement of the lady that spoke to me about the Lava Malka that is going to be held here this evening, I have been in a state of awe and trepidation. Awe because of the subject matter. We are talking here about something that from the beginning of Jewish history our people have been yearning for. We are talking about a topic which may be the tachlis of Brias Olam. I knew right from the beginning that just the same as Torah does not explicitly write about Bias HaMashiach, because the event is greater than words, even than words of Torah. How can I, a basar v'dam, a mere mortal, do justice to the topic of his galus Mashiach Tzidkenu in our time? Trepidation, because I knew that I had to be careful what I said, that there are people, mockers and knockers, critics and skeptics, who are waiting to pick something up that somebody will say that may turn them away from our hope and our aspiration, and I don't want them to turn away. I want them to join us. And therefore you will excuse me if I will be careful in using the terminology of language, and if I say a word which is out of place, then I refer you to an axiom in society. You present to me a human being, who has never said or done anything wrong, never made a mistake, and I'll tell you that that human being has never said a word in his life and doesn't do anything. A person who speaks and a person who does things must make mistakes sometimes and must sometimes say a word out of place. But I believe the Almighty will protect me, that what I say will be niskabel by those who are present here and those who are listening in other parts of the world. Right from the beginning of Jewish history, the topic of Mashiach has been a topic which occupied the fathers of Jewry. Just a few weeks ago, we read in the Torah about the Pri Ha'avos Yaakov Avinu, who called his children together and said to them, "Come, I will tell you, Es asher ikra eschem ba'achis hayomim. I'll tell you, I will be megala saketz. I'll tell you when Mashiach will be revealed. I'll tell you what's going to happen in the end of days." I remember when I was a boy and I learned first time this piece of Chumash, my heart started to beat faster. Psaklenigkeit. Yaakov Avinu is going to reveal the Deires when Mashiach is going to be Nizgala. And then when I learned a few psukim later, and I see that he's not saying anything, he's giving brachas to the children, I turned round to my Rebbe and said to him, I'm Melamed, and I said, where is these galus of the cats? And he said, wait till we learn Rashi. And Rashi says that Yaakov Avinu wanted to do it, but the Shekhinah left him at that particular moment, and he couldn't tell them what he wanted to. I was upset with the answer that my Melamed gave me. But then when I got older a bit and I studied it a bit more, I saw something peculiar there in the words. Yaakov Avinu wanted to tell them, Eis asher ikra eschem ba'achis hayomim, what will happen to you? How do you spell the word ikra? Yud, Kuf, Reish, Hey. That's not what's written in the Torah. It's written Yud, Kuf, Reish, Aleph. Ikra means calling, not happening. One of the Mefarshim says, a Aleph and a Hey is Mischalef. Interchangeable. But why does the Torah L'chatchila write it with an Aleph instead of a Hey? And I think the answer is that Yaakov Avinu, though he felt that he couldn't be Megala es HaKetz, gave us a hint of how to bring Mashiach. You ask modern psychologists and they will tell you, if they want to judge a society, they'll ask, what are the 10 bestsellers? Pick up the newspapers and you'll be able to tell what kind of a world we are living in. Yaakov Avinu said, Le'olam voed, to the Jewish people,